everybody. Friedel Wolff. I represent the South African Centre for Digital Language Resources. And I think in someone working in the field of humanities, in a little bit of a minority. So thank you also, Nelda, and organizers for reaching out to us to include our perspective on these things. I'm not today representing a specific software project, but rather our software activities as a whole. We are not a research institute in the classical sense. We are part of the National Research Infrastructure Roadmap, so we see ourselves as a research infrastructure rather than a purely research-oriented group, and my colleague John Stein will be on the panel and might touch on those things later. But you'll see therefore more how our focus is rather than on research outputs, on unlocking research for other people. We are based in Potchefstroom at Northwest University, although the rest of our staff, much of our staff is all over the country. What our software does is, a lot of it is connected to data collection and the aggregation and the formation of data sets that are published on a data repository that we host. And that is part, as you can see, of our more infrastructure thinking, like unlocking other people's research by hosting those data sets. We deploy a lot of software developed by other people, a lot of it open source software, sometimes with minimal or no adaptation, sometimes with more fully fledged development work going on there. And a lot of it is not, let's say, algorithmic heavy software development. It's really just about getting it out there, keeping it stable and monitoring so that other people can get their work done where software packages might actually do exactly what they need. But in short, what does it do that is maybe more, let's say, unique to our case? A lot of it is around text processing, language data, text, different kinds, dictionaries, terminology, raw text. You can think of Hansard from Parliament, newspaper data, reports. Maybe we'll get to do some automated analysis on the reports of the Zondo Commission, or what's the new one? There's no shortage of commission reports to do analysis of. All right, so these things can unlock a lot of other research by providing pipelines, small components of pipelines, and raw data sets from which other research can be done. I like to sometimes, 15 years ago, I always used to mention the example of Google Translate. So the data sets we have are the kind of things that make Google Translate possible. These days we are obliged to call it ChatGPT. But the point is other people get to build stuff when data is shared. So that's also an example of the kind of research and products that our data sets can unlock. And I'm saying our data sets, really our repository is open for researchers all over the world that deposit their data sets there. But to be specific, things like text analysis, things like literature and the characters in literature, but you can think of things like analysis of Hansard, that's a project we're starting with now, or even newspaper analyses and things like that. You might see sentiment analysis is a topic that also finds applications in the financial industry. How do we build it? Well, we have lots of things, so I'm not going to go into much of details. In short, I'll say Python. We're not really on the HPCs and cloud environment at the moment. That's just not where our current work is, but some of the people we liaise with are there. Our repository is a fair repository and also looking for some certifications there. We have only 2 full-time staff members, but we work with a number of contractors, and there are from time to time also some part-time and full-time engagement possibilities, so reach out if you're interested. I'd say our biggest issue is really about sustainability over the long term, trying to see how we can create things that can survive me, that can survive all of my current team members, all of my current contractors, so that the next people coming in have a fighting chance of keeping things in the air. Because we have this infrastructure mindset, really about keeping things available for researchers in the humanities, also for the future. I thank you for your attention.